Welcome to another story of incredible pro-revenge. Today, we'll be diving into a tale of betrayal, persistence, and poetic justice. Sit back and enjoy, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories like this one. Imagine waking up to find your beautiful old trees completely gone, cut down by your neighbor without permission. Instead of just getting mad, our heroine Emily found a way to get even, leading to her neighbor's eviction. Here's how it all went down in this unforgettable story of justice and pro-revenge. Emily, our protagonist, worked hard to create a beautiful home, complete with lush trees and a well-kept yard. But her peace was shattered when a new neighbor moved in, a woman who thought she could do anything she wanted, even chopping down trees that weren't hers. But Emily wasn't about to let that slide. This story is about how she meticulously crafted her revenge, step by step, until her neighbor faced the ultimate consequence. Emily had lived in her quiet neighborhood for nearly 15 years, and over time, she'd transformed her yard into a little slice of paradise. Her two old oak trees stood proudly in her front yard, offering shade, beauty, and character to her home. The trees had been there long before Emily, and she felt like they were part of her family, representing years of care and growth. She even had a bench installed under one of them, where she'd spend evenings reading or watching sunsets. Things changed, however, when her new neighbor Sharon moved in. Sharon seemed friendly at first, and Emily welcomed her, hoping to be on good terms. But it didn't take long for Sharon's personality to show through. She was overbearing, nosy, and quick to complain. Within the first few weeks, Sharon was already commenting on Emily's yard. She'd say things like, those trees make my garden too shady? Or, are you worried about branches falling in a storm? Emily would smile and nod, not wanting to start any drama, but deep down, she felt something was off. Then came the day when Sharon suggested outright that Emily should consider cutting down the trees. She explained that her garden would get more sunlight and that it would improve the view for both of them. Emily was polite, but firm in her response. The trees were staying. They were on her property, and she loved them. She didn't think much more about it, until one weekend that changed everything. One Saturday morning, Emily woke up to a loud buzzing noise outside. She assumed it was just yard work in the neighborhood, but the sound grew louder, closer, and more intense. When she looked out her window, her heart sank. There, in her front yard, was a landscaping crew with chainsaws, already cutting into the trunk of one of her beloved oak trees. She bolted outside, panicked and furious. Emily approached the workers, yelling at them to stop immediately. They paused, looking confused, and explained that they'd been hired by Sharon, her neighbor, to remove her trees. Emily was stunned. Not only were these her trees, but Sharon had absolutely no right to have them removed. She demanded the workers stop and leave, making it clear that they were trespassing and destroying her property. They apologized and packed up, leaving her yard in a mess of fallen branches and a half-cut tree. Emily was devastated and furious. She stormed over to Sharon's house, knocking on the door, her heart pounding. When Sharon finally answered, she looked completely unbothered, even annoyed to see Emily. "What's the problem?" Sharon asked, as if she hadn't just destroyed Emily's property. Emily told her off, demanding an explanation. Sharon, with a smug look on her face, shrugged and said, "I was only helping. Those trees were an eyesore, and besides, they blocked my garden's sunlight." Emily couldn't believe the nerve. She knew Sharon had to pay for this, but she didn't want to rush her response. She wanted to make sure that Sharon felt the weight of her actions. Emily spent the next few days documenting everything. She took photos of the stumps and branches left by the workers, gathering every bit of evidence she could. She even spoke to her other neighbors, some of whom had seen the landscaping crew working on her trees and were willing to provide statements. They were all appalled by Sharon's behavior and offered to back Emily up if she needed it. She then hired a certified arborist to appraise the value of her destroyed trees. When he completed the report, it showed that the oaks were worth a combined total of $20,000. Losing those trees wasn't just a sentimental blow, but a financial one, as they added significant value to her property. Armed with this report, Emily filed a claim against Sharon for property damage. But Emily didn't stop there. She knew Sharon was controlling, and it occurred to her that she might be cutting corners elsewhere. So, she decided to look into Sharon's own property for any violations. And sure enough, Emily discovered a treasure trove of issues. Sharon had installed a large fence that extended beyond her property line, encroaching on community land. She had also added a shed in her backyard without any HOA approval and even paved part of her lawn to expand her driveway, which was another violation. Emily gathered all of this information and made an official complaint to the Homeowners Association, detailing each violation with photographs and documentation. The HOA, already frustrated with Sharon's behavior over the years, was more than willing to take action. Soon after, Sharon received multiple notices from the HOA, listing her violations and demanding that she correct them within 30 days. If she didn't comply, she would face heavy fines and even potential legal action. At the same time, Sharon was served with Emily's lawsuit for the destruction of her trees, which was no small sum. The combination of these actions hit Sharon hard, but Emily was far from done. Emily kept meticulous track of Sharon's responses, knowing that she would try to avoid taking responsibility. True to form, Sharon tried to argue her way out of the situation, insisting that the HOA was being unreasonable. She even tried to claim that the trees were a hazard, hoping that would absolve her of responsibility, but the evidence was too strong against her. As Sharon continued to fight, Emily continued to build her case. The neighbors rallied behind her, signing a petition for Sharon's removal from the neighborhood due to her ongoing rule-breaking and disturbing behavior. The HOA, already fed up with Sharon, saw this as the final straw and issued her a warning that if she didn't comply with the rules and pay her fines, she could be forced to leave the neighborhood. Between the lawsuit and mounting HOA fines, Sharon found herself in an impossible situation. She owed thousands in fines and legal fees, and her reputation in the neighborhood was ruined. Realizing that she couldn't continue living there without facing constant backlash and financial ruin, she finally decided to sell her house and move away. But her troubles didn't end there. Due to her negative reputation, Sharon had a difficult time finding a buyer. Word had spread in the area about her actions, and potential buyers were wary of purchasing from someone known for boundary issues and rule breaking. Her property sat on the market for months, forcing her to drop the price significantly to make a sale. As for Emily, she was able to use the settlement from the lawsuit to plant new trees in her yard, restoring some of the beauty Sharon had destroyed. The entire neighborhood was thrilled to see Sharon go, and Emily's actions made her a local hero, with everyone thanking her for standing up to the disruptive neighbor. In the end, Sharon lost not only her reputation, but also her place in the community, all because she thought she could impose her will on others. Emily's patience and careful planning had brought justice, and her neighborhood returned to the peaceful, friendly place it had been before Sharon arrived. Emily learned that sometimes standing up for what's right takes time, persistence, and a little creativity. Her story serves as a reminder that actions have consequences, especially when you mess with the wrong person's trees. If you enjoyed this pro-revenge story, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more tales of justice and karma. Thanks for watching. Mind-blowing facts.